All right, so you've hit a revenue ceiling in your business and you're not sure how to really break through it and go to the next level. My name is Tyler Link. I own my own $4 million a year concrete company where I've had to crush all kinds of stuff basically to get to the level where we're at and to keep growing. And on top of that, I own Concrete CEO, where we market for over 40 other concrete companies where we've scaled people all the way from $0 all the way up to $700,000 per month. So I've seen all kinds of problems that hold people back. In this video, I'm gonna be summarizing what those problems are and the solutions on how to break past them. So the first thing that you have to really understand is you don't know what you don't know. And to illustrate that, I have a story for you guys. I was about 2 to 3 years into my business. I was doing about $1.5 million in revenue, and I was totally stuck. I was working as hard as I possibly could. I didn't have money to hire like an office manager, someone to help me work harder. I didn't have money to spend in ads. I really felt totally effed because I was like, man, I'm working as hard as possible and I'm not really sure what's going on, but I can't add. I can't add a salary. I can't add ads. And I remember I went to a group because I was a part of a group, and I asked them there, I said, guys, I have this crazy thing going on. Here's my situation. Luckily, there was some guy probably doing about $7 million in revenue at the time. He was a landscaper, but it was close enough. And he was nice enough to literally call me on the phone. And I was telling him everything. And he goes, oh, Tyler, dude, I know what's going on. You just have to charge more. And I remember sitting there thinking back, and I was like, dude, what are you talking about? I have to charge more. I'm already charging $850 in my market. Back in the day, around 2020, that was actually considered pretty high. And so I told him, I was like, no, dude, I already charged a lot. And he's like, how much do you charge? And I told him, and he goes, oh, man, I'm charging almost double you. I'm at 15. And instead of me trying to wonder how the heck he's doing it, it was so preposterous in my mind. I immediately went into, oh, well, you don't understand my business. You don't understand my market's bad, this, and that. And because I was in such a bad mindset back then, I basically ignored what he said, and I continued to struggle and suffer and not grow for a little bit of time until I really realized what he said was true. The crazy thing is, if I just wouldn't have been such a dummy back then and realized that I had this limiting belief, and I was telling myself in my mind, it was so true, it was not possible to charge more. And I had all these reasons on why I was correct. And because of that, I didn't actually search for the actual answer because I believed in my head that limiting belief so much, and it held me back. Be really careful on what you believe in, because just that belief alone might be holding you back from the thing that actually you need to do to basically move your business forward. All right, the next thing. When people make changes, they try them out. And this is the whole reason I even made this video. This kind of reminded me of this problem, because I actually just had a video with Alex Ramosi, and a lot of times in the comments, a lot of people were arguing, oh, Alex Ramosi is talking about whatever. It doesn't matter. You could think that, you could not think that, it doesn't matter. But what I noticed, and this is kind of what made me really realize and remember that everyone kind of thinks like this, is they go, dude, just try it. You can always try it. What's the worst case? You just give it a try. And that is such a bad mentality to have. And let me kind of explain why. So imagine you're trying to get good at golf, let's say for instance, and you have someone in golf and they say, dude, why are you swinging I'm not really that great of a golfer. But they're like, oh man, why do you have your hands like this? You need to take your hands and put them like this. And then imagine if you had that mindset. You have been playing golf forever like this, holding the golf club, and you're holding it wrong. The thing is, you're used to it. So even though it's wrong, you're probably okay at hitting a golf club like that. Now all of a sudden your mentor, they say, dude, you gotta move your hands from here to here. And you're like, yeah, dude, I'll give it a try. And you go and you take a first swing, oh man, and you don't even hit the ball. Imagine if then you look at your mentor dude, I tried it, it doesn't work. That's such a bad mentality to have. So what I want you guys to realize, I see so many people do this. They're gonna go try to make an improvement in their business, break past a barrier, and they try something. But they try and they don't actually give it a real try. A real try in business is not giving it one golf swing. It's seriously committing to a new strategy. And what you have to realize, and this is kind of what drives me nuts. Let's just relay it back to business. Let's just say Facebook ads, and you've grown all that you can off word of mouth, and you can't possibly figure out how to get past word of mouth. And you have money to put in Facebook ads, but you put money in Facebook ads and it doesn't work. And then instead of thinking, oh man, why are my Facebook ads not working? Is it my sales? Is it my lead nurture? Is it the actual ads themselves? Is it the leads? There's so many reasons why it could not work. But instead of trying to diagnose why it's not working, you just chalk it up and you say, dang it, I tried it. Facebook ads don't work. No, that's dumb. You know how many people actually go out and make Facebook ads work in their business. The thing is, if there's someone else making it work in their business, you need to figure out what they are actually doing to make it work. And you also have to realize when you try something new, you are going to suck, okay? You never ever do something new and it works right away. Like, the chances that happens is so seldom. So when you go to change things, when you go to break past barriers, you don't just try things. You have to commit to a new strategy based on research, based on what other people are doing, and you don't just try it for a day or two. Like, you're talking months and months and months. And sometimes that's how long it takes to actually get the hang of something and get good at it and apply it in your business. Another reason that people can't scale is they have no data. It still is shocking to me how often that I go to someone and they're like, Tyler, what do I do to grow my business? I don't know what's going on, this, and that. And then I just start asking them very basic questions. Well, cool, man. I mean, how many leads did you get? Oh, I don't know. Okay. What would you say your close rate is? Oh man, not 100% sure, probably around 30%. I'm like, I mean, how confident are you in that? Long and short, they have no data about anything. They don't know how many leads they get. They don't know how many leads they book. They don't know what their close rate is. They don't know what their average job size is. And the thing is, when you have no data, how are you supposed to make any decisions to move your business forward? What you have to realize, you go to the doctor and you say, doctor, I don't feel very good. Like, imagine if they just tried to diagnose you. They're like, dude, you've got cancer. You're effed. Like, you would be like, are you dumb? You gotta test my blood. You gotta see, is it my white blood cells? Whatever they're testing, right? But regardless, you don't make decisions not knowing any idea what the heck is going on. Because business is way more complex than just, oh, I get lead, I sell, and I make money. No, like, dude, you have to understand where your problem is. But it's impossible to understand where your problem is if you don't have data. And if you don't have data, don't worry about it. But just know that not having data is the actual reason that you're not growing, okay? And I see that all the time. People grow up to a certain point and they did really good. They were basically winging it. And all of a sudden they hit a certain point, they have no idea what to do. And the next step to growing is to have data, to make an actual decision. So just know, sometimes you accomplishing and breaking down your revenue goals, you have to do something that allows you to do that before you grow. Because a lot of people are like, Tyler, why would I waste time on data? I need to grow. It's like, yeah, dude, exactly. But how are you supposed to know what to fix if you don't have your data? So anyways, gotta have your data, because without that, you can't make good decisions. Another reason people don't grow is they lack a scalable marketing system. A lot of people, they do things that are unscalable. They rely on word of mouth. They might do super inconsistent things, like they might go to a couple little events here and there, but they don't actually have a system that allows them to literally just dial it up whenever the heck they want. And that's the true problem with a lot of people's marketing, or the way that they get work, is they have no actual way to just dial up their leads. Or they've done one of the things, like I also know a lot of people, and believe it or not, there's some people that are really successful on Angie Leads as an example. And then maybe they grow their business to a certain point. And I'm like, dude, why don't you just do more Angie Leads? It's already working for you. And they're like, oh man, well Tyler, here's the thing. I literally told Angie Leads, I want more leads. And they say, dude, you can't actually scale up past where you're at right now because there's no more leads. And then they don't know what to do. And it's actually pretty simple. You just move on to the next platform. That's it. Number one, if you don't have a scalable marketing system, what I highly suggest doing is Facebook and Instagram ads. That's what we do for all of our newer and smaller clients. It's for sure the easiest to get into. It's for sure the fastest. And that is for sure the best thing to start in. And then what we do is we max that out, we scale that up. And then once we hit a certain point where we can't scale, now we go into Google. Now we're gonna go into TikTok. Now we're gonna go into Yelp. Now we're gonna go into Nextdoor. There's so many things. Now we might even do advertising through magazines. There's so many things to do. But if you don't know how to grow and your main problem is leads, then you need a scalable marketing system. Speaking of which, I own a marketing agency for concrete contractors. So if you're a concrete contractor, you're wanting to scale, you don't know how to, and it's leads that's holding you back, I highly encourage, go down below, link in the description. Watch a quick 5-minute video to learn more about our marketing system. And if you're interested, fill out a form and we will do a free consult for your business. All right, the next reason that people don't scale is they don't actually delegate correctly. A lot of times what people do is they hire out tasks that they don't actually do. So for instance, they will add people to the crew. They will add laborers. they will hire a lot of positions that don't actually solve your time. And what I actually see is a lot of people will scale, but they only grow to a certain point, and then the actual bottleneck of the business is you. It's the owner. You're basically fully capped out. There is nothing else you got out of your plate. You can't get any more leads because you can't do more quotes. You're capped on office time. There's so many things that you basically can't do because you're capped out. And the thing is, when you hire people, a lot of people will just hire to do other ancillary things inside the business versus, let's just say what you should do is a lot of times people want to be totally jam-packed with their schedule, which you can, but if you want to grow, then you need to free some time up that will allow you to do new projects, go make more money, etc. So what you really should do is you should do some time analysis on your calendar. What do you spend the most amount of time doing that you could easily get rid of? Like for instance, a lot of times for people, it's just like even having an admin. And you're like, man, I spend 2 hours a day typing up estimates. Like that's totally nuts. Either number one, hire an admin, or have your existing admin just train them on how to get that off your plate. And the other big thing that I see a lot of contractors do is when they hire people, they literally say, hey, I need you to just like do this. They hire people like they hire a concrete finisher. They say, do you know how to finish concrete? Yes or no? And they're like, oh yeah, I know how to finish concrete. Cool, you're hired. But that is like, you cannot do that on the business side of things. You actually need to slow things down and seriously train people up. You can't just say, oh yeah, just do estimates like this. You need to walk them through. Hey, step one is I do this, then I do this. This is why I do this. You have to really spend the time and invest the time and energy into actually training and delegating someone. Most times I see people, they hire someone, they immediately throw them in the fire. They don't invest any time actually building that person up. And then they don't wonder why that person totally sucks and they can't do anything. Well, it's because you never actually showed them what to do in like a serious manner. But if you want to scale forward, you have to delegate and have to actually hire out your job, not just jobs of other people. One of the most common reasons that people get stuck all the time is they need to charge more. And I totally get it. A lot of people, including myself, like back then, I got so panicked because I was like, dude, there's no way that I can charge more. Because the thing is, if you build your business up, let's just say that you have 2 crews, 6 guys, and you think about it, you're like, Tyler, I can't charge more. Because then if I don't sell enough work, well, then I'm gonna lose guys. Well, keep in mind, you don't really have much of an option. Because if your business has 6 guys and you do say $1.5 million, and on top of that, I have no money to invest. I can't hire people, I can't grow with ads, I can't do anything. Well, basically what you've done is you've built basically an unscalable business. And so 9 times out of 10, when that happens, it's because you're not charging enough. You're undercharging and you're under accounting for things like your overhead. At this point, you have 3 options. You could either increase your leads, hoping that if you lose a little bit in your closing percentage, at the end of the day, you're gonna balance out. Like, let me give you a quick example. Let's say that you have 10 leads in your business and your closing rate is 40%. That means you close 4 deals. All of a sudden you raise your prices. Now your closing percentage goes down to 20%. Uh-oh, you're gonna go from 4 jobs to 2 jobs. But what happens if your lead flow goes from 10 leads to 20 leads? Well, 20 leads at 20%, you still have the 4 deals. You guys get what I mean? So sometimes in order to do this, you have to have some faith in launch marketing and anticipate that your closing rate is gonna go down, you increase prices, but it's all gonna balance itself out. So that's option number 1. Option 2 is you could increase your sales skills. So you might have to invest in sales training, go learn some new sales methodologies. You might have to do some like cool brochures that you bring and it's gonna increase your close rate. And then that's when you actually raise your prices. Okay, so now all of a sudden you have no more leads, but you raise your prices, but because you're better at sales, you could sell jobs for more. That's another way. And the third way, and I know a lot of people don't like this, but it is an option, is you could literally just decrease the size of your company. And I say that, and this has happened to my business now twice, where I basically found myself in a really crappy position where I didn't know what to do. I didn't have money to invest in marketing. I didn't have time. So even if I invested more in marketing, I couldn't just go bid more jobs. And I was in such a crappy spot. What I had to do is I basically had to raise my prices. And because I raised my prices, I closed less jobs and I kept less people busy. And what I essentially did, let's just say if I have 6 people, 9 times out of 10 when I talk to business owners and I say, actually I was just talking to one just recently, we have a client out in Iowa and he says, dude, I have 3 people. One of them I really like and I can't lose him. Another one I kind of like, and the other guy I don't really care if I lose. So long story short, we decided he's gonna raise prices if he still doesn't close enough. Absolute worst case is he would just reduce his labor by technically 33%, and he could just close 33% less jobs and get rid of the fat of the company. But all of a sudden, he was gonna be making more money with 2 people and raising prices than he was with 3 people at lower prices. So unfortunately, it's not very fun. But if you really wanna move your business forward, sometimes, like they say, you gotta take a step backwards in order to free yourself up so you could actually move forward and build from a more healthy foundation on your business. Another thing you could be doing is you need to focus on the right bottleneck in your business. And what I've seen a lot of people is when they hit a certain point, they always go back to what they're most comfortable with doing to try to scale their business. Like for instance, let's just say that they're an operational minded person and they're like, what they do is even if their crew is super efficient, like unreal efficient, they're like, oh man, I've hit a certain threshold, I need to make my crew more efficient. Even though the crew's unreal efficient, but they go to it because it's comfortable to them. They go to it because it actually comes very natural to them to be good. They're a natural born operator. There's other people and they do the exact opposite. They're really good at sales. And in order to scale their business, they try to improve their closing percentage from like 30 to 40%. It's very, very difficult to do. And when you're going to go scale your business, what you have to actually determine is not what you're comfortable at doing, but what are some things that you've been pushing off that you're neglecting that you can get better? That is probably the actual bottleneck of your business. For a lot of you guys, it's marketing. Some people it could be leadership. It could be operations. You have no SOPs, but you need to do the thing that is the lowest hanging fruit of the business. And most likely it's gonna be the thing that's most uncomfortable to you. And that's why your business is so bad at it, because you're neglecting it. And the last thing, if you wanna scale, what you need to realize is you need to ask yourself, why can't I just do more of what's already working? And I see this all the time. It's so funny to me. And it blows my mind because it happens to me too. And it's like super funny. Is a lot of times people will be at like say $2,500 a month in ad spend. And maybe they took that and grew all the way to $1 million a year. And then they're like, God, dude, I don't know what to do. How to scale past $1 million a year. And I'm like, okay, well, can you take on more work? They're like, oh yeah, I have the guys. I'm like, do you have the sales capacity? Yeah, like I have the time. I'm like, why can't you just spend more in ads? It's so funny because a lot of times people are like, yeah, I guess I could. Or let's just say if you get all of your work through networking events, and let's just say that you like 2 networking events and you do them every month. And then I would be like, well, can you do more networking events? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, well, then just do that. So always start with the easiest thing and then you move on to the harder things. So essentially you always want to try to do more of what you're currently doing. So if you can't do more of something, you'll actually know that you can't just by asking yourself that question. Next is you think about better, right? So think about if you're already doing networking events. You might want to say, man, how else can I get more out of what I'm already doing? So you might want to improve like how you actually ask for referrals. You might want to be a little bit more aggressive about it. There might be some ways you could tweak so you could actually do better at what you already do. So after you think about, can I do more and can I do better? That is when you finally go to new. Too many entrepreneurs always go to new, and because they try to do way too much, they're always doing new, they can't ever perfect at what they're already doing and making money at. And with that being said, I hope you guys liked today's video. If you like it, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel. I do all kinds of tips for contractors here on this channel, and I'll see you in the next video.